Maka-MJS to.
Guys, makiki-MJS tayo, guys!
What if I told you that there are moments caught on camera that completely defy explanation? Moments so strange, so mind-boggling, that they leave even the most skeptical among us questioning everything we thought we knew about reality. From headless women strolling through train stations to mysterious disappearances caught on security cameras, these aren't just ordinary videos. They're mysteries that challenge the very fabric of what we believe is possible. So buckle up, because what you're about to see may shatter your understanding of the world. Let's dive into the most bizarre, unexplainable moments caught on camera that have left everyone who witnessed them scratching their heads, searching for answers. The headless woman at Central Station. Picture this. You're at a busy train station, just waiting for the next train, when you see something so out of place that it sends a chill down your spine. A group of friends were in Central Station one evening, casually talking while watching the commuters, but what they saw next wasn't like anything they'd ever expected. Walking across the platform calmly, like she belonged there, was a woman. But here's the catch. She had no head, just a regular body with a bag slung over her shoulder, walking as if she was going about her business. No one around her seemed to notice, but the group of friends couldn't take their eyes off her. It was so surreal that at first they wondered if they were imagining it. Could it be some kind of optical illusion? Was it the shadows playing tricks? Or had they stepped into some bizarre parallel universe? But no, it was real. The woman kept walking, seemingly unfazed by her missing head, while the friends stood frozen, unsure if they should approach or just walk away. Every instinct told them to look away, to pretend they hadn't seen anything, but they couldn't. This wasn't something you just ignore. The friends looked around at the other passengers. None of them reacted. It was as if the woman wasn't even there. The absence of a head made her even more eerie, but the fact that no one else seemed to care or notice made it all the more unsettling. Was she an apparition? A ghost? Or something even darker? The more they stared, the more it felt like the world around them was playing a trick. Fear began to creep in. Were they witnessing something supernatural? Could this woman be the embodiment of some paranormal force? Or was there another explanation altogether? The thought that no one else seemed to care, or even see her, made it all the more strange. Was it possible that they had seen something the rest of the world was blind to? The group couldn't shake the feeling that they were caught in a moment of something that wasn't meant to be seen. As the headless woman disappeared into the crowd and out of their sight, the tension didn't fade. They stood there, speechless, processing what they had just witnessed. The questions still hung in the air. Was she real? And if she was, what had just happened? Were they seeing things? Or was something far stranger going on that they couldn't explain? The mysterious portal, a walk into the unknown. A seemingly normal day turned into an absolute enigma when a young woman stood by the road, waiting for the light to change. But then, in the blink of an eye, something impossible occurred. A portal, an actual gateway, appeared in front of her, shimmering and pulsing with an energy that seemed unnatural. Without any hesitation, the woman moved toward the portal as if it was calling her. Was she being pulled in by some invisible force? Or did she willingly step into another dimension? And then, she vanished. What shocked onlookers even more was the way the portal seemed to open. It didn't just appear suddenly. It seemed to respond to her, almost as if she had triggered it with her very presence. As the camera captured every second, it was unclear if the woman had jumped into the portal or been drawn in against her will. The moment was so bizarre that no one knew whether to scream or run for cover. The woman's disappearance left witnesses in complete shock. Was this some kind of prank, a cleverly orchestrated illusion? Or had they just witnessed something so otherworldly that their minds couldn't process it? It was as if reality itself had been altered in front of their eyes, leaving them questioning their perception of the world. But what really throws everything into disarray is the possibility that she knew exactly what was happening. The way she moved, the gestures she made, suggested that she might have been aware of the portal's existence all along. Could this be the beginning of something more profound? Were there others out there with the knowledge to open such rifts in time and space? The idea that something could manipulate the very laws of physics was mind-blowing. And yet, the portal just closed, vanishing as quickly as it appeared. Was this a one-off, or is there a whole hidden world of portals waiting to be discovered? Could there be a deeper truth behind the veil of reality that we've yet to understand? As the video spread across the internet, no one had any answers, but one thing was for sure. What they had seen was far beyond anything they could explain. The Vanishing Passengers, disappearing without a trace. We've all experienced strange moments where something just doesn't seem to add up, but when this strange disappearance was caught on camera at an airport, it shook people to their core. Imagine being at a crowded airport, waiting for your flight. The usual hustle and bustle surrounds you. Passengers shuffle around, chatting, checking their phones, sipping their coffee. Everything is as normal as it can be. But then something so utterly bizarre happens that it doesn't even feel real. A passenger, standing in plain sight, suddenly disappears. One moment he's there, and the next, gone. No explosion, no flash of light, no sound. Just gone. Like a trick of the mind. The surrounding passengers, including a woman standing right behind him, look around, completely dumbfounded. They glance at the security footage, replaying the moment, wondering if their minds had just played tricks on them. But there it was, plain as day. A man had vanished into thin air, leaving everyone around him confused and terrified. It wasn't just an isolated incident, though. Soon, another incident happened in a different terminal. Another passenger, simply sitting, standing, and then disappearing. No explanation. This strange phenomenon left everyone involved feeling like they had witnessed something completely out of their depth. Was this a strange, eerie glitch in the Matrix? Or was something more at play? How could two completely separate disappearances happen in the same place in such a short span of time? No one could find a reasonable explanation, and the airport authorities weren't offering much in the way of answers. Witnesses were left with more questions than before. Had they been part of some experiment, or was there another force in play that no one understood? What happened to these passengers? Where did they go? And more importantly, why? Was this some bizarre accident, or was it part of something far bigger than any of them could imagine? One thing's for sure. The disappearance of these people raises far more questions than answers, and no one seems to have a clue as to what truly happened. The frozen moment. Time stops for one woman. In the world of strange occurrences, nothing can quite compare to a moment where it seems like time itself has been altered. Walking through his neighborhood one day, a local resident witnessed something that made him question everything he knew about reality. A woman, walking just ahead of him, froze mid-step. Her posture, once fluid, suddenly stopped as though she had been frozen in time. Not a single movement, no shift of weight, nothing at all. It was as if the world had paused for her alone. For a few long seconds, the woman stood there, motionless, in mid-stride. It wasn't a freeze frame or a moment of hesitation. It was as though she had been trapped in time, as if the universe had held its breath and decided to stop everything around her while she was stuck in a moment of stillness. The man, confused and somewhat unnerved, looked around to see if anyone else noticed, but to his dismay, no one seemed to be reacting. Was he the only one who saw this? After what felt like an eternity, the woman suddenly snapped back to reality. She resumed walking as if nothing had happened, her movements fluid once again, as though the pause had never occurred. The man stood there, completely bewildered, trying to process what he had just witnessed. Was this some kind of time lapse? A malfunction in reality itself? Or was it simply a trick of the mind? He couldn't figure it out, and neither could anyone else he told. The mystery of what had just transpired remained unsolved. Was it an isolated glitch in time? Or was there something deeper going on? If time could really freeze, even for a moment, what else could be out of place in the world around us? And if the woman had truly stepped out of time, where had she gone during those few seconds? The questions continued to echo, unanswered. Was it a momentary lapse in reality, or had something far stranger occurred that day? One thing is certain, what the man saw was unlike anything he could ever explain, and it's a mystery that's not likely to be solved anytime soon. The strange movements, power, or coincidence. Sometimes, the most unexplainable things are captured when you least expect it. A video that surfaced online in December 2024 showed a woman making strange hand movements. At first, it looked like she was just playing around, but things quickly took a turn for the bizarre. As her hands moved, the door of a junkyard swung open, perfectly synchronized with her gestures. What seemed like a coincidence quickly became something much more mysterious. Was the woman actually controlling the door with her hands? Viewers were left stunned as they watched the door open and close, seemingly in response to her every movement. Some believed it was a case of telekinesis, an ability to control objects with one's mind. Others dismissed it as a coincidence, a perfectly timed series of events that just seemed too odd to ignore. But the more you watched, the more it seemed like something impossible was happening right before their eyes. The synchronicity of her hand movements with the door's response was eerie. It was as if she had a power that allowed her to influence her environment. Some viewers even theorized that she could have been tapping into an energy force, manipulating the very fabric of reality. The more people analyzed the footage, the more questions emerged. Could she really have been controlling the door with her hands? Or was it just an incredibly lucky coincidence? Some went as far as to suggest that this woman was somehow tapping into a power that defied all logic. Was it telekinesis? Or something even stranger? Whatever the explanation, one thing is clear. This video left everyone who watched it scratching their heads, questioning the limits of human ability, and wondering if we've only scratched the surface of what's possible. The mysterious figure, a glimpse of the impossible. In June 2024, a video surfaced that seemed to defy everything we know about the physical world. Captured by a security camera, the footage showed a man dressed in black passing through a set of security grills. At first glance, it seemed like a regular man walking through an entrance, but as the camera zoomed in, something completely unexpected happened. The man didn't walk around or under the bars. He simply phased through them, almost like a hologram. What made this even stranger was that an elderly woman who tried to follow after him couldn't pass through the grills. She was stopped dead in her tracks, as if an invisible barrier had been set in place. Meanwhile, the man, without missing a beat, continued walking as if there was no barrier in his way at all. Was this a man with some sort of incredible ability, or was it something else entirely? The video had everyone questioning what was real, especially since the woman who attempted to follow was unable to replicate the same feat. Theories began to swirl around this strange encounter, with some suggesting that the man might not have been human at all. Could he have been some kind of dimensional traveler, slipping through barriers that we couldn't even comprehend? Could this video be proof of a hidden world, one where the rules of physics and space don't apply? The idea that someone could simply phase through a solid object like that raises questions about the very nature of reality itself. Others speculated that this might be evidence of something even more supernatural, a vampire, as unlikely as it seems, or perhaps an alien from another planet with the ability to manipulate matter at will. Could the man have been a being with abilities beyond anything we've seen in humans? The whole concept of being able to pass through physical barriers like that shakes the foundation of everything we believe about the laws of nature. In the aftermath of the video's release, many dismissed it as an elaborate hoax or special effects. But the fact that it was caught on security footage, with no special effects or editing, kept the world guessing. Was this man a part of something far greater, some otherworldly force at work, or was it just an incredibly well-executed illusion? The footage raised a chilling question. If this man could phase through objects, what else might be possible that we've yet to see? Is this a glimpse into an undiscovered realm, or merely a glitch in reality that we can't yet explain? The Portal Surprise, a glimpse into another world. What happens when the impossible is captured on film, leaving us with more questions than answers? A surprising moment caught on a parking lot security camera had people wondering if they were witnessing a scene from a science fiction movie. A car pulls into a parking lot, seemingly doing nothing out of the ordinary, but just moments later, something appears that no one could have prepared for. A portal opens right behind the car, out of nowhere, and it seems to pull the car in. The driver, seemingly unaware of the growing rift in the air, gets out of his car, walking toward it as if drawn by some invisible force. Before anyone could comprehend what was happening, the portal closed as quickly as it had appeared, leaving only confusion and fear in its wake. Was the driver taken into another dimension, or was this some sort of illusion crafted by technology or natural forces we don't understand? The footage was spread online, sparking wild theories. Some suggested that the driver had crossed over to another world, an alternate dimension perhaps, while others wondered if the entire thing was a manufactured stunt. But one thing was certain: no one could explain the portal itself. It wasn't just some hole in the ground. It was a shimmering, powerful vortex, and it opened right in front of the driver, drawing him to it. People in the area had seen it too. The rift in space and time that was so quick and dramatic, it left many of them terrified. Some said it was a one-off, a glitch in the universe. Others were convinced that it was the start of something much bigger. Could we be on the cusp of discovering a gateway to another realm, one that's been here all along? If portals like this exist, how many more are out there, waiting to be discovered? What happens to the driver after the portal closes? Did he end up somewhere he shouldn't have been? Is this the kind of phenomenon that's just waiting to happen again somewhere else? These questions may never be answered, but one thing is clear. There is something incredibly strange at play, something that defies all the rules we thought we understood about reality. The magical transformation, a reality-bending moment. Do you believe in magic? Well, after watching this footage, you might just start to. During a performance in 2024, a woman was showcasing her talents in front of an audience, something that seemed pretty ordinary at first. But then, as she bent down and placed her hands into the light in front of her, something extraordinary occurred. Before everyone's eyes, she seemed to age backward. In a stunning and inexplicable moment, she literally transformed from an adult into a young girl, right in front of their eyes. The audience gasped in shock, unsure of what they had just witnessed. Was it a trick of the light, a special effect, or had they really seen someone defy the laws of nature? The transformation was so seamless that even the most hardened skeptics in the crowd were left speechless, their beliefs shattered in an instant. The video quickly went viral, with people online debating whether it was real or simply a well-executed illusion. Some speculated that the woman had some kind of hidden ability, perhaps a magic spell, or even a secret power that allowed her to manipulate her appearance. Others thought it was a camera trick, a clever manipulation of angles and lighting. But the more people analyzed the footage, the more they came to the conclusion that this was something far beyond simple illusions. The idea that someone could actually change their physical appearance in such a dramatic way without the help of technology or special effects was enough to shake even the most cynical minds. Could it be possible that there are abilities within humans that have yet to be discovered? Or was this a demonstration of some supernatural phenomenon, something so extraordinary that our current understanding of reality couldn't explain it? Whatever the truth is, one thing remains undeniable. The footage left everyone questioning the limits of what is possible. If this woman can truly transform before our eyes, what other mysteries of the human experience have yet to be revealed? Could this be the first step toward unlocking powers we've only ever dreamed of? The Ocean Walker, a man who defied gravity. Imagine being out at sea, fishing under a calm sky, when you suddenly witness something so unbelievable that it makes you question everything you thought was possible. A fisherman, enjoying a quiet day out in the ocean, saw a man walking across the surface of the water. Yes, you read that right. A man walking on the ocean. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light or perhaps some kind of mirage, but as the man moved across the water, it became clear that this wasn't some optical illusion. The fisherman watched, stunned, as the man's movements seemed completely natural. He wasn't floating on the water, but walking across it, his feet making contact with the surface as if it were solid ground. The fisherman tried to make sense of what he was seeing, but nothing about the situation made any sense. No one could explain how this man could possibly be walking on water. Was it some kind of trick? Or was there something supernatural going on? As the man walked farther into the distance, the fisherman realized that what he had just witnessed wasn't something he could explain away easily. He wasn't dreaming. He wasn't hallucinating, and this wasn't some stunt. This was a moment that defied the laws of nature, and it was caught on camera by the fisherman. What's even more bizarre is that the man continued walking across the water, seemingly without effort, moving in a way that was fluid and purposeful. As if he had done it 100 times before, he walked with such ease that it left the fisherman speechless. Could this man have some kind of power? Or was there another explanation that we just don't understand? The fisherman's experience left him with a single lingering question. How is it possible for someone to walk on water? Was it a magical trick? Or had he just witnessed an unexplained phenomenon that no one could ever replicate? And if this man really has such powers, what does that mean for the boundaries of human ability? The Glowing Orb, a contact from beyond. On a quiet night in Michigan, a woman stood outside her house, enjoying the calm air when something bizarre appeared before her. Out of nowhere, a small glowing orb materialized in front of her. It moved slowly, almost as if it were observing her, and she could feel a strange, powerful energy emanating from it. It wasn't just a light, it felt like a presence. The orb moved in circles around her, and no matter where she moved, it seemed to follow, almost as if it was trying to communicate. As the orb hovered near her, she began to feel as though it wasn't just some random anomaly. Could this be an extraterrestrial encounter, or was it something far more mystical? The woman couldn't explain the sensation that enveloped her, but one thing was certain. This wasn't like anything she had ever experienced before. Some who watched the video online speculated that the orb was a message, or perhaps a signal from a higher intelligence, possibly from another galaxy, or even from beings beyond our understanding. The energy it radiated seemed to be otherworldly, unlike anything natural. Was this orb a way for someone, or something, to communicate? Or was it simply a random event, a one-time phenomenon that would never be explained? The mystery deepened when the woman described the orb as feeling familiar, almost like it was a sign from a star family. This added another layer to the enigma. Could it be that the woman was in contact with beings from another world, trying to establish some sort of connection? The concept of star families, groups of extraterrestrial beings tied to Earth, suddenly seemed much less far-fetched. For many, this footage raised unsettling questions. What was the orb? Why had it appeared to her? And what did it mean? The woman may never have the answers, but her experience opened the door to a mystery that no one could fully comprehend. The floating tree. It was a calm, quiet evening when a lone driver found themselves traveling down a less traveled road. The world around them was still, the night air cool, and the only light coming from their headlights and the moon above. But as they made their way along the path, something strange caught their attention. A tree, hovering a few feet above the ground. At first, the driver thought their eyes were playing tricks on them, but as they approached, it became clear that the tree wasn't just swaying in the wind or caught in an illusion. It was defying gravity, floating in the air without any apparent support. The driver, heart racing, slowed the car to a stop, staring in disbelief as the tree remained suspended, its branches swaying gently in the breeze, as though it were in an impossible state of levitation. There were no strings, no wires, and nothing that could explain how the tree was floating. The phenomenon lasted only a few moments, just long enough to spark a sense of wonder and unease in the observer, before, as suddenly as it had appeared, the tree seemed to vanish into the night, leaving only an empty stretch of road. The driver quickly drove away, unsure of what they had just witnessed, but deeply shaken by the impossibility of it all. People who have heard the story speculate wildly about what could have caused such an event. Some believe it could be related to a rare magnetic anomaly. Others wonder if it was some kind of portal or interdimensional rift. Whatever the case may be, the fact remains that this strange sight has left behind a lingering mystery. Could it have been a one-off, an anomaly in nature? Or was there something more to this bizarre encounter? Was it a sign of something bigger at play? Or just a fleeting illusion? The answers, as always, seem just beyond reach, but the vision of that floating tree continues to haunt the mind. The Unblinking Interview. In an age where appearances are meticulously curated An unsettling moment during a live interview left viewers questioning everything they thought they knew about the person on screen. The figure being interviewed was a prominent public personality, someone whose face and mannerisms were recognizable to millions, someone who had built a reputation as being as human as any of us. But something felt off. As the interview progressed, it became increasingly difficult to ignore one strange detail. The individual didn't blink, not once. At first, viewers thought it might be a trick of the camera or a brief lapse in natural behavior, but as the interview continued, it became impossible to dismiss. The person on screen was engaging, offering responses, but their eyes remained wide open, locked in a seemingly unnatural stare. No blink, no eye movement, no sign of a normal physiological function. This was something different. Soon, speculation began to swirl on social media. What was going on? Was this individual some kind of android or advanced robotic replica constructed to deceive the public? Or, even more strangely, could they be someone or something else entirely? Some viewers suggested that what they were witnessing was a glitch, or perhaps an illusion crafted by special effects or technological manipulation. Others, however, ventured down a much darker path, theorizing that the individual on screen might be a body double, someone standing in for the original figure, their physical presence hiding a deeper secret. Perhaps this was an extraterrestrial, a being from another world who had mastered the art of blending in. The more the viewers watched, the more the lines between reality and fantasy began to blur. What was behind those wide, unblinking eyes? Was it truly a person, or was it something far stranger? And why didn't they blink? These theories are only compounded by the growing number of similar, inexplicable occurrences that have surfaced in the media. From bizarre performances in public to odd interviews that leave viewers unsettled, the world seems to be full of strange moments that refuse to be explained away. The Unblinking Interview is just one more piece of evidence that reality, as we know it, may not be as stable and predictable as we think. Is there something hidden beneath the surface of our world? A truth waiting to be uncovered? Or are we witnessing signs of an unknown force making itself known in the most peculiar ways? From headless figures to inexplicable disappearances, these videos are not just strange, they're a glimpse into a world that most of us can't even begin to understand. Are these just bizarre coincidences? Or are they signs that reality is far stranger than we ever thought? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is for sure. These moments have left us questioning everything. What do you think? Are these mysteries just a glitch in the system, or is there something far more mysterious at play? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping content that'll make you question everything.